So the Alumni Writers Residency was a project developed with our first Center for Imagination staff fellow, Dr. Clara Astorloa. She's a Spanish language acquisition teacher here at Woodstock and a published author. And together we developed a series of interdisciplinary projects focused on literature and culminating in a Woodstock Literary Festival. There's been a lot of talk about how artificial intelligence is changing the nature of education, it's changing the nature of writing, creativity in general. And so we wanted to explore these themes and really celebrate the art and craft of creative writing, to think about why we write. So it all started with our creative writing competition, and the theme was Tales from the Hills, Tales from the Valley. And we invited several different schools from Missouri and Dehradun to submit pieces of creative writing. We got over 200 entries from 12 schools, and we did a blind judging competition where we're publishing the winners in an anthology. Then of course we have our Alumni Writers Residency, and we have Karan and Omair who are here, and they're both published writers, of course, and they've been engaging with our students in a lot of different workshops. They've been coming into classrooms, giving talks.
The Woodstock Alumni Writers Residency is a celebration of literature and the transformative power of creative writing. From literary walks, seminars, combined art activities, experiences, workshops, reflections with writers on campus, as well as other writers and editors coming to the school. The residency is a unique encounter of literature and the everlasting essence of creative writing. Through memory and imagination, the idea is to allow the writing to flow and become the congregation of ideas, projects, desires that later may continue to take shape.
It was very interesting, this exercise that they did using bits of our writing, Karan's, mine, those of the other writers, and translating that into artwork. But it was also just very interesting how differently they reacted to, and how much time they spent thinking about just one little passage, and how involved they got into it, and how much of them was reflected in that. So I was pretty blown away by that thing.
I've been holding workshops on perspective and point of view and storytelling, and I've been encouraging the kids to think about empathy and to think about telling the stories from their own perspective and the perspective of others around them. Any form of creativity like that is really needles and really brings people to a truth that I don't think is communicated in daily life. In daily life, we are sort of skirting around the truth, whereas with creativity, with fiction, with non-fiction, with art, we can tell the truth in a way that will impact us long term and will help us and will help others too. So I think that's the importance of writing, and that's the importance of all art.
Was that we have to get to know our characters in our stories, and I'm very used to just rushing into the plot, rushing into the ending of the story, and I've never actually stopped to think about the characters. So I feel like that's something that will definitely help me in the future for any assessments, etc.
And I really learned about perspective and how the story might be the same, but how if you have 40 people in the same room who witness that story, they're all going to have a different perspective about it. And when you hear those different perspectives, it's quite fascinating to realize and understand how the story was the same, but how the event was the same, but the story was different for everyone.
Like any other human, I get a lot of thoughts and ideas in my head, and the way I see things might be different from other people. And writing helps me understand those emotions. It's not necessarily to share to people, but just putting things the way I see the world, the way I see things, helps me like understand why I see things a certain way, or helps me understand my perspective on the world, so I can learn from the way I see it and reflect.